Hi there, I'm Joey.
I'm Jacob.
And we are watching Star Trek for the first time. Last time on Star Trek, we had Who Mourns for Adonis, I learned. So you were right.
I thought so.
And also, I probably should have just known that, but I don't know. I'm not up on my Greek mythology.
I mean, it sounded right to me when you
Yeah.
tried saying it. I was like, oh, Adonis, because it sounds like Greek-like, so I was like, it's probably,
Well, yeah, the spelling of it, I guess, is Greek. I don't know. Anyway, today we're watching an episode called The Changeling, which only, for some reason, just triggers, Marv Wolfman and George Perez Beast Boy images in my head.
That's it. That's what I first thought of, too.
That's what he was called.
Yeah, that's what I thought of, too.
We've also had changelings before on the show. At least one that immediately comes to mind from the Man Trap. But they were shapeshifters, So I don't know. That's sort of what I'm thinking of.
Well, it can't be them. That was the last of its kind.
Yeah. But I don't know. Maybe maybe it could tie into something we've seen before. Who knows? I guess we'll find out. So we're about to get into post-episode thoughts in a second. Be sure to join us then. We're about to watch The Changeling. Alright, so I must admit, I still have no clue why it's called The Changeling.
Yeah, I think it has to do with the one tale that Kirk was telling Spock about the Chinese myth. I think, if I'm remembering correctly, how he put it, of the monster that took the form of a baby.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay, and I guess it could also refer to the fusing of the other probe and all that.
Yeah.
Okay,
that's what I assumed.
Anyway, I loved this episode.
Oh,
this is
so
fucking
good.
Awesome. This was so fucking cool. Really great classic 60s sci-fi concept, Robot was created to be perfect, realizes that nothing is perfect, dies.
Including itself.
Yeah, so very, very classic, done before sci-fi concept, but very, very cool in its execution.
It's done before, seen it, but I'm happy to see it done right.
Yeah, done very well here. First thing I actually want to note here is the music. I really, really love the music here. There's this great scene where Spock makes contact with Nomad and Nomad starts to sort of take over here. Mm-hmm. But the music in that scene is what I really took note of, and I know I think we commented on it in every episode of season 2 so far.
Yeah, we made at least some comment about it.
So fucking good. I really do love it.
I'm digging the music. The music's big here.
Yeah.
So far, I'm sure we'll stop talking about the music eventually.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, as long as it stands out as much as it is, it's never a bad thing. Unless there's too much of it, who knows?
Right.
Too much of a good thing is a bad thing, and all that.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I just really loved a lot of this. I loved Nomad as a character, as the character that it is.
Yeah, the character it became was super interesting.
Yeah. I like its initial mistake of mistaking Kirk for its creator, because it has a similar name to its actual creator. Mm-hmm. And I like Spock catching on to that. He's like, "You're my creator," and Kirk's like, "No." And Spock's like, He is your creator, and he's just
and me and your creator are gonna go out in the hallway.
Yeah, because
you stay here.
Because Spock immediately sees that this thing was created to be perfect, and nothing is perfect. And if it realizes that Kirk isn't its creator, it's gonna go apeshit. As it does in the end. Yeah,
it's
a very tense episode as a whole, though. I think
I'd like to point out very briefly, because I'm sure we'll discuss it because it's interesting. But he still doesn't actually convince Nomad doesn't convince itself that Kirk isn't the creator still.
Yeah.
Kirk has to still point that out to him.
Yeah, Kirk actually takes a very different approach to defeating Nomad in the end. But yeah, like I said, very tense episode. I remember just thinking pretty much the whole time from when Nomad is introduced, I'm like, okay, it's gonna snap at some point. Something's gonna go horribly wrong. And it's just not going to end well. And
it didn't for at least 4 red shirts.
Yeah, and a 5th if you count Scotty, because he did kill Scotty for a brief time.
Yes.
And then brought him back to life, which it was a commercial cliffhanger, which I thought was really, really cool. And I was like, that's just a great cliffhanger.
It was an effective cliffhanger, very effective.
And just straight up killing Scotty, which I thought was awesome. Really great stuff. Also, not as huge a crew as we've had in our past couple episodes of season 2, but Ahura's here, and we get some more of her singing. And Nichelle Nichols just has such a nice voice, I think.
Mm-hmm. I like hearing it.
She's very good. Just those little character moments like that, and Nomad is confused by that. It's like, what are you doing? What is this form of communication? Actually, I do want to talk briefly about the Nomad prop, actually, which we were trying to figure. Not trying to figure out, but just like trying to like see like all the little like camera tricks that they were using to like move it. So like if they only had to show it from like the top down, they would like move it from the bottom. If they only had to move it from like show like the bottom of it, then they move the top. But every now and then they tried to have the whole thing in shot, and you could see the string that it was being lifted by.
Yeah, there's 2 shots where the string is notable.
Yeah,
and one of them, unfortunately, is due to the lighting creating this massive shadow of the string.
Yeah, it really sucks. but still, love Nomad. Really, really do. It's also in that same scene with Ahura that I had to laugh because Scotty reminded me of one James Robert McCrimmon.
Indeed.
As he called Nomad the metal beastie.
Right.
I thought it was great. For those of you that don't get it, it's a Doctor Who thing from the Patrick Troughton era.
And it's just a fun little joke that it's not even like an in-joke, it's just a fun comparison to see happen.
Yeah. Which is funny, actually, because this would have come out around the same time that Jamie was a main character on Doctor Who.
Huh.
This is 67. Yeah, so it was prime Troughton and Fraser Hines time. So yeah,
cool.
Just kind of fun. Just some really cool stuff in here. We also get Nurse Chapel back here, which is very nice to see. She gets attacked by Nomad towards the end of the episode, but I think I don't know. I wish it had gotten a bit more time. In the scene where Nomad is investigating Ahura's singing, I keep saying he.
I keep saying he too. Yeah.
Nomad had such a personality. I think that's what sort of separated this from a lot of other like sci-fi stories where this concept has been done.
Right. And as far as I've ever seen, I've never really read these stories personally. Like a short story, I've never read these from like this pulpy time in sci-fi.
Yeah.
But it's like it's always like a base AI or whatever.
Yeah.
It wasn't even an AI. Wasn't really a term at that time.
No. But yeah. So. But no, so like it starts to like scan Ahura's brain and it's like cut off and it sort of like messes with Ahura's mind and like sort of like resets her, I guess.
Yeah, the idea is that she's essentially a blank slate, I suppose.
Yeah. So we get this one scene where McCoy and Chapel are like teaching her to read again, and she starts speaking this other language, and like I don't want to like comment too much on the scene because I don't know what language she's speaking, if it's a made up language, if it's a real language. I don't know.
Real or made up, I assume it's. I'm assuming it's from like her birthplace on Earth, like whatever the native tongue would have been.
Yeah. But I just really like that scene, and then by the end, it's just solved in like a throwaway line. Where McCoy's like, "Oh, you'll be happy to know that Ahura is back to like college level, and she'll be back on the bridge in no time." And it's like, all right. Sure.
And I just like how she'll never have a different personality because no way she'll come out this. In reality, in the same personality that she did before.
Exactly. Which is something that I'd like to see touched on, because it is such an episodic show. You can't really do that.
No, especially if they filmed them in blocks and then chose episodes to air in whatever order they choose them.
Yeah.
There's not going to be like a character arc of Ahura being a new personality. You know?
Yeah, exactly. Which is something I would like to see, but I doubt it's ever touched on. But I love the way we defeat Nomad in the end, and you did call it.
I mostly called it. I was off by a little bit.
Yeah. But Nomad is Kirk points out that Nomad is flawed. Nomad was created by flawed beings, therefore Nomad itself is flawed, and it should kill itself.
To which it replies, not really.
Not really. You see, I love the one line, actually. I wish I'd quoted it, but I'm pretty sure I remember it. Kirk said, like, I have created a flaw, and Nomad says it is no flaw to create perfection.
That was the line, yes.
Yeah, I really, really like that.
To which then Kirk then has to... I don't know if this was his plan, but it looked like, he thought of it kind of on the spot. He's like, but you aren't perfection. You have made several mistakes.
Yeah, namely that I am not your creator. And you have flawed in that, and that alone is just a massive error. You still believe that I'm your creator. And kind of, again, with the Doctor Who references in this, I joked, I was like, there's this episode of Doctor Who called Death to the Daleks, and there's literally a scene towards the end where a Dalek kills itself. And it just sort of like running around in circles, and I was like, oh my god, Nomad's gonna kill itself like a Dalek. Starts freaking out. They lift it up. They put it they beam it away from the ship. They watch it explode in space. It's a really kind of funny scene. And on funny scenes, Kirk calls Nomad his son at the end.
Yeah,
which is pretty funny.
But he calls himself its mother.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I would have gone with father as the analogy, but
no, mother. But yeah, I guess that about does it. This is the first time I've ever done this though. I have 2 notes at the end here. It's the first time I've ever written notes on the credits because the credits started rolling, and as we've mentioned before, like they show like a bunch of like stills from like past and upcoming episodes of the show,
like
they already filmed, because the show wasn't filmed in order, and they're like, oh well, pictures do we have? Let's throw these in there.
Right, they're just from whatever block of episodes they had filmed.
And we were just so taken aback by the pictures in this one. I started taking notes on the credits. There's a bearded Spock with like a Kirk in like a gold tunic.
Yeah, it's great.
There's the Enterprise being chased by a giant rock in space. There's a cat. Just a cat?
Like a close-up of the cat.
And then there's a cave that looks like a cat, I think.
Yeah.
If I saw that right.
I'm going to be honest, I hope that first one and those last 2 shots we just mentioned are in the same episode.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm excited to see where those come from.
Right.
But back on the episode itself, just very good episode. I really, really enjoyed the Changeling. I thought it was fantastic.
Yes.
Yeah. Hopefully more like that in the future. Season 2's been a really strong, other than like Adonis, I'd say.
Yeah, that was the only weaker episode so far.
Yeah. But still, very good. Very excited to see where we're going in the future. Be sure to join us next week when we continue Star Trek: The Original Series. Until then, this has been Joey Morgan.
I'm Jacob.
Goodbye.